You know, people talk about the number zero for a million years straight, and still it wouldn't even begin to expand or bring to an understanding what the zero is all about. You know why? Because this is the real secret of the whole world. Let me see people that don't think about zero, because in their mind zero is like luzu, like nothing. Like when someone says to you, I have like nothing to eat, it's like the fridge is empty, the zero. Nothing to eat, nothing to drink, nothing. There's nothing to do. You see what I mean? That's why this word cannot really get what the number zero is. People have it backwards. Let's try to figure out the big numbers. But the number zero, you just can't get it. Why? Because the zero is shaped like a circle. And the circle has no beginning and no end. So why don't we see the number zero in this world? Because it truly has no beginning and no end. It has no limit. Like a circle, the circle has no limit. And since it has no limit, it is beyond all times. It's beyond all of space. It's beyond all of time. You can see that zero because it's beyond space, beyond time. When it enters this world, a world of time and space, we think that it's nothing, as if there is nothing there. But really, it goes like this. There are two paths. One is the path of everyone in this world. It's called 0-1. And then there is another path that if someone will walk down in this world, it could be something totally new, something that has never existed in the one before this. What does that mean? It means it gets a kind of mind that is beyond the human mind, like zero. When the mind of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, even up to billions and billions rouse out, only then does the wisdom of zero begin. So there is one kind of wisdom that the whole world goes by. That's the wisdom of 0-1. And there is a different kind of wisdom. It goes 0-1-0. Let me explain it quickly, okay? Look, there is the reality in this world that's called before the creation of the world. How can that be? If we are inside the world now, the world was already created. But no, there is a reality that is always here. And it's been here before the world has created. What does that mean, before the world has created? It means this is reality that was beyond all space, beyond all time. Now, what does it mean beyond all space, beyond all time? It means it's in every place, at all times, because it has no time and no space. That's also why when we interpret the word Genesis in the Bible, it doesn't mean in the beginning at all. Why not? Because Genesis is like before the one. It's before creation. It's like the seed that includes everything. And it's the story of the zero. It's like infinity, beyond time, beyond space. The whole idea of the beginning doesn't exist. Because in time, let's say we have past, future, but beyond time, these 2 points connect like circle. So there is no beginning and no end. There is something that the human mind cannot really understand, because it's a place with no time. So there is a place that is still here right now, and we call it before the world's creation, even if the world was already created, so to speak. Because if it's a reality that's beyond time and beyond space, it exists in every place and in every time. You get it? That's why you can't really say before or after. So even in this world, there's a kind of reality that's kind of crazy, that if someone understands it, you can use the force of before the creation of the world inside the creation in the world we are living right now. Why? Okay, listen to me. What is zero really? We said zero is something that has no limits. But what does zero mean? Zero is nothing. But what is nothing? It means no gate, no door, no boundary. There's nothing stopping it. And this no limit, that is the infinity. So now, what did this the Fennec zero do so that it would want to reveal itself? What did you do? And it keeps doing it every single minute. Because like we said, the reality beyond time, it's alive at all times, in every place. Only just hide itself, as we will see in a second. It hides inside time and space, where we wouldn't expect it. That is where it hides. So what does this zero do all the time? What does it keep doing? Like keeps dividing himself into two, into a thing at its opposite. Why does it divide itself? So that what's inside it, which can be seen, can be revealed. That's why at that very beginning, the zero divided itself into two. Like there is the zero, and also something opposite to the zero. That is the one. Now there is a one and a zero. The person's true picture can be revealed, their nature, their essence, their will, what they will build, what they will create, and what they will do their whole life. Now you see that's because there is a thing and the opposite of that thing. First, just look, even if you take the number one, take one as an example, all the way up to 1 million, it's called still in the category of the number one. And why is that? Because it's a being, it has a limit. Even 1 million, and for most people that's a lot, it still has a limit. Why? Because it's 1 million and not 2 million. 1 million is 6 zeros. Then you take 9 zeros, that's 1 billion, it's 1,000 times 1 million. You say that's a huge number, but really it's not, it's still just one. Why? Because even 1 billion has a limit. And the limit is 1 is 1, and 1 is not 2, because its own limit. Then you take 1 trillion. Let's say that's 12 zeros. That's 1,000 times 1 billion. Sounds crazy, right? Trillion, or whatever you call it. But even 1 trillion has a limit, because it's 1 trillion and not trillion and 1. You get it? So all the numbers in the world, there is not enough time to count them all. Because even if you spend your whole 120 years of life counting every number in the world, you would never finish, because you can always add another number and another and another, right? Even if all the generations of the world got together to count numbers, the numbers would never end. And what does never end mean? It's like the numbers are showing you what was inside that zero that you couldn't see. You follow? But no matter what number you take, even if it's 1 trillion raised to the power of 1 trillion, it's still considered something. An entity, why? Because it has a limit next to the zero. Now the real wisdom is, how do we bring this zero into our lives? And keep it short, because this is very, very deep and not easy to understand. That's why really for someone who knows the wisdom of the zero, even 1 trillion raised to the power of 1 trillion means nothing to it, because it's still counting 1 in relation to the zero, which is its opposite. It's a something, an entity, and something almost has a limit. That's the definition of something. Meaning it has a place, it has a time, and it has a form, a picture. Now zero has no picture, because zero is a circle. It hints that it has no form. You can see that the beginning connects with the end in the sutta. It's like there is no place, no time, no form, there is nothing at all. So now that this zero has come down into our world, what do people say? We cry, have nothing and poor. Or even if we have everything, we still say, I will this, I will that. We always complain. It's like we are afraid to be in the story of zero. Because to him, zero means, I want more. This isn't enough for me. I don't have enough, right? So what am I trying to say? What do we actually see? We see that the zero is a mind-blowing wisdom with no end and no beginning. Like we showed before, even if we count a number for a million years, we still wouldn't be even at the beginning of the numbers, because you can keep counting forever. And this reality that's inside creation, as we have said at Genesis, doesn't meet in the beginning, because the absolute reality that created the world is beyond time and beyond space. It doesn't have a beginning or an end. It's like when you start to draw a circle, let's say that's the beginning. Once you close the circle, the beginning and end meet at the very same point. So inside this world that seems to have been created, there's also a reality that still hasn't been created yet. And what Guru does do to me? How will this help me? It helps me because if in this world there is a reality that hasn't been created yet, I can create something new through my own will, something that has never been in the world before. Because if we said that the zero has no beginning and no end, that it's the absolute reality and what it's called before the creation of the world, then now, while I'm living inside creation, if I know the zero, I can bring it into the world, a reality that hasn't yet been created. That is a reality that hasn't yet taken any form or shape or something in this world, something totally new. And I can bring it into my life, right here, inside time. That's what comes out of free understanding the zero. That is why people are afraid of uncertainty, because for them, uncertainty feels like zero. And what is zero? It's not knowing what will come out of it from this zero. What number? The trillion, minus a trillion, a billion, 2, 3. We cannot know what the zero is going to bring out. What the numbers that come out of the zero, stretching out to the infinity, are simply reveal what was already there, hidden inside the zero, that is the state of before creation of the world. Now, how can you see that the zero narrowed itself down and divided itself into two? What is two? Two is a thing and its opposite. That is two, right? It's like it divided itself into two sides, and between those two sides, it can reveal its own story. Now look, we don't even notice it. I'm not sure if I remember everything right now. So let's just take the simplest examples. It says the person walks those day, right? Everyone walks. Let's say it doesn't matter if we walk, didn't walk, went out of the house, did things. Let's call that one. Why one? Because we showed an action, we brought it into being. We create an entity. At work, what do? We create a something. We give that something a limit. For example, someone has 10,000 a month. So they create a something of 10,000. That's become their limit. Someone else make 20,000. That's their limit. Because I went out to work to see what happened, I created a something, my own limit. But if a person produces zero, They are not doing anything. They end up with no paycheck at the end of the month. They have no life, no revelation of anything. So what do we see here? What did reality do to us? What did the zero do? It said only a something by itself can't last, because a something is like a battery without charge. It was out in the end. So what did the absolute reality do? It divides itself into two. Which two? The thing and its opposite. That means without even noticing, we'd come back home, whether we work hard or not, doesn't matter, and then boom, we go to sleep. What is we go to sleep? It's the opposite state of the one we were in during that morning, walking. So the very fact that someone lives inside a thing and its opposite, that itself the creation of that person. That now the true will, the story, what they do, why they're really new into the world, can be revealed. That is the person's unique color. You see, he lives inside both states, awake and asleep. Who set all this up? The zero. Why? Because the zero can't be revealed unless we take an action and then do the opposite of that action. We reach the zero, but what happens? That zero has no showing of its own. Let me explain. It's very simple. Here's an example. In the morning, we get up. What do we eat next? Eat, right? We need coffee, we need food. What do? You go to the grocery store. The moment we reach out to buy coffee or milk, at that same moment, we are only taking money out of our own pocket. See? We did a thing we wanted to eat, to drink. At the same time, we did it opposite. We also give away money. We create zero in that story. You get it? Then we want to go to work. Well, the car doesn't move. What is the car? It's the way our will shows itself. Let's say our will to go out and do things. It shows our will through work or something else. It doesn't really matter, but still, we need to put gas in the car. So again, what is putting the gas? Once again, we give something away of ourselves so that we can do the action, so that our will can show itself. But really, these are just simple examples. You see that we can't take any action in this world without also losing something at the same time in the same action. That loss, that minus, is like zero. It reveals your action. How long can we go out without sleep? What is sleep? It's just the opposite of being awake. How long can we go without eating or drinking? Not long. But that's not it. Not eating and not drinking is only the opposite of eating and drinking. So we see that this zero is everywhere in the one. It shows up as the person's story and its opposite. And we don't even notice that right there within the thing and its opposite, our will is revealed. Our story comes out. That's it. It's really simple. Just that simple. Now, it isn't really a reality. It is just the personal feel of each person. For every action we carry out, we have to give up something. Money, energy, happiness, or anything else in life. And the same goes with people around us. Depending on the time, the situation, the place, we end up fighting with them. Or someone we don't accept. He's so hurt, I can't stand him. I don't like him. I don't accept him. You see, our reality keeps bumping up against us. It doesn't roll according to our will. If I'm right wing, I cannot stand the left. If I'm left wing, I cannot stand the right. And it continues with other opinions, other cases, other situations. He acts too much like this, she acts too much like that. I don't like her. Why is that? Because the fact that I don't accept everyone, that I don't love everyone, is what allows me to live inside limits, inside time, inside space, inside a something. So there must be opposites throughout our life, opposite, so that we ourselves can be revealed. Because before a person is born, before they left their mother's womb and were born, it's that before creation. We don't know what will come out. There is no relation inside the womb. No sign of what will come out. The boy or a girl, what shape, what it will be. You get it? Only when they come out into the world after creation are they revealed. And you see a woman, just for example, when she brings a child into the world, when she gives birth, she needs to spread her 2 legs. Why? So that it says something can come out, something we didn't know about before, but it was already inside her. It's like Claire was into two legs, and then a third thing comes out, and only then do we start to see its shape, what the child is, what he wants, what she loves, what he reveals to the world. It will really reveal who we are. This only happens because without noticing, we always act like robots, doing one thing and then its opposite. There is no one who can live without sleep. There is no one who can live without food. There is no one who loves the whole world. No way. Someone will come along, and stay close to him for a few days, and you will end up hating him too. So we can see that all of life is between these two and its opposite. It's what's happening. That's what we said at the start. The life of the whole world is made up of 1 and 0. It's like a person lives between the limit and beyond the limit. Why beyond limit? Because when you're awake, you're always inside some limit. To do what you do, it has to be within a boundary, a place, a time, a form. It's your job. But the moment you go to sleep, that's without limit. So when a person sleeps, they have no limit. And that's why the imagination can run so far, without end. So the very first reality of a person's revelation is what we call the creation of the world is always between the thing and its opposite. That's built right into the life of each and every one of us. If we want, for example, to travel north on the lat, what's the opposite of north? South. You see, we need the opposite of the thing to exist. South. So we can go north. Same with everything. Left hand, right hand, it's always the same story, but we just don't notice it. Now what this third state I was talking about, the one that hardly anyone reaches, it's 0, 1, 0. What do we say? A person can actually break free from this polarity of his life, because what is polarity? Is the 0 splitting itself into 2. A thing and the opposite of that thing, right? Now if 0 is nothing and I want to connect to 0, because 0 is no limit, I want to bring something that's beyond limit into my life, which is within boundaries, right? Take money. Even if I make 100,000 a month, I still want more. Go on vacations, a bigger house. I always want more. But if we said that more is really just returning to 0, to that place that already includes everything inside, the infinity, and how do I do that? Because we said, is Bill awake is 1, then sleep is 0. So if I'm asleep, it is 0, but 0 can be revealed on its own. So how do I connect to 0? If 0 is really so great, how do I get there while I'm alive and my life shows itself to 1? Because think about it, 1 also means 1 trillion or 2 trillions, it doesn't matter. In the end, it's all just 1. Why? Because it's still a limit, a boundary. It's still time. Because it takes time to count, to a reading, to a billing. So if I show myself through the number 1, which includes all the numbers in the world, I still cannot just go back and be 0. Because if I reset everything, I'll either just be asleep or just be awake. It doesn't work. It can't. Because our life is always between 0 and 1. That's how we reveal what we really want. So how do we connect with this 0? If it is impossible to connect to this thing, or even talk about it, but no need to say anything, there is no connection, and that's it. But that's exactly the beauty of it, as deep as this wisdom gets. Like I said before, you could talk about the 0 for a billion years and still wouldn't end. Why? Because 0 is a circle without end. Talk for a billion years. What's a billion years compared to infinity? Not even a grain of the sand. What is 10 billions compared to infinity? Same thing, just another grain of sand. Because whatever being you put in the world, no matter how big it is, compared to the infinity, it's nothing. It disappears, it's just a kind dot, absolutely nothing. You get it? So, we see that a person can be revealed only through the lack itself. Because what is that lack? It's the thing and its opposite. And only then our will is revealed. Because if there was no thing and its opposite, everything would be 0. And what is everything is 0? No world at all. No plants, no stones, no animals, no people. There is no difference between one person and another. Everything is 0. Everything is equal, is the same. There is no position, there is nothing. It's all the same. That's why all equal is what we call the state before creation of the world. Because there was no creation yet. And what is creation? Is the moment one thing splits from another. So now, how can we connect to that 0 that's called 0, 1? That's every person's life. But how, after being in the 1, can I get back to the 0? How? Because if I cancel myself, the 1 goes back into 0. Then it's 0, no life. I would just be a loser, a 0. And what is 0? No life. Like in the hospital, God forbid, when someone passes away, what do you see? A straight line on the monitor, no up, no down. This is you, dead. What does dead mean? There is no self-revelation, dead, end of story, kaput, that's 0. That's what I've been saying for years. No one can understand the wisdom of 0, because once you are already at 1, if you try to go back to 0, even if you stop buying food, stop taking money out of your account, stop everything, you don't exist. If you have no luck, let's say the lack of money, you have no revelation. You don't have money to put in the car so it can move where you want. You see, you have nothing. If you don't sleep, if you don't eat, and these are kinds of lack too, you cannot exist. It doesn't matter. There are endless examples. Even for example, someone doesn't like anybody at all. His revelation doesn't exist. It's very important to get this. So now, the highest wisdom of all wisdom that people have come up with since the world was created, aviation, space, satellites, airplanes, types of amazing wisdom, it's really all nothing. Why? All these kinds of wisdom is still related to the being, to something, because they are all also built from a thing and its opposite, from 1 and 0. Now the wisdom is, after we have 0, 1, which is the existence of my life, it means that 0 splits itself into a thing and its opposite, 0 and 1. You follow? Now to go back from the 1, the thing that allows my life to be revealed back into zero, that is impossible, because then once again I return to before creation and nothing from me will be revealed. And it's like being dead. My life is flat line, dead, right? So I'm still alive. That's called 1, 2, 3. It's like someone climbing stairs. That's the way the arrow of time goes. There is a time, a year, 2 years, 3 years. It's all like stairs. It moves with time. It's a being. But now to reach the wisdom that's beyond existence, beyond limits, the wisdom of the zero, it's impossible. It's not human. It can be done. They explained it very well, so maths. That's why I told you at the start, the wisdom of the zero is beyond human mind. Meaning the human mind cannot do it and cannot understand it either. How you cancel the one? If you go back to the ground again, there is nothing there, just earth. There is nothing at all. Let me put it into words, and it's very simple. How to break time within my own time, how to break space within my own space, which is a limit since it's something. Now let's talk about the example that everybody loves, money. Why? Because money answers everything. Everyone loves to talk about money. Know why? Because money, in a way, gives life, right? Now imagine someone works. Let's say every month he makes 20,000. Now you fall into a limit you can't get out of. You have been working at this job your whole life. But now you want to bring in 100,000 or 200,000. You can't, because you are inside your one. You can't bring more than that. So when I talk about the wisdom of connecting to zero, it means you connect again to the zero after the one. You can now bring the unlimited inside the limited. It means that the same person who used to make 20,000 suddenly, in a second, is making 200 million. Because, as we said, for the zero, it's no problem to bring more something. For the zero, it's nothing. The real problem is now that I am one. How do I go back and become zero again? I will give you two simple answers. It's a pity, it should have been explained much more, because this is the basis and the root of it all. That's why you live, poor thing. You come into this world and there are troubles and pain that go against your will, against what you want. But that very opposite, that thing that go against your own will, are your own personal revelation. You are going to die before you even get old, and even you have lived a full life. And all that time, you couldn't connect to the wisdom that exists before the world was created, to the wisdom of infinity, right? Because this very word is limited and measured. So, what is this wisdom? You know, we don't need to talk about it for hours, not for 1,000,000 hours. It takes half a minute and you can understand. In every wisdom, you always need to go back to the roots of things. Look, if zero is a state where nothing is revealed, but really it's not nothing. The zero is actually all the combination that were, that are, and that would be until the end of the days. Because it's zero, because it's nothing. It has no limit. It already includes all the combination that were, that are now, and that will be forever. It holds all the possibilities in the world. That's why the mind cannot see it. The mind can only see one combination at a time. All of them together is like nothing. So now we need to go back to the initial thoughts, to the very beginning. If the zero is not showing, there is no revelation to anything inside it. Endless things inside it have no showing because it's all evened out. If there aren't any opposites, there are no showing. That's what we have said here. So what is zero? Zero is something that has no opposite inside it. For example, the number 1 already has an opposite, because 1 and 2, it's like a thing and it's opposite. It's two ones. It's like 1 is right side and the other one, 2, is left side. So 1 is meant to be opposed by another number. But 0, there is no opposition. It doesn't go against anything. Doesn't oppose, it doesn't correct or say anything. It is nothing. There is no opposition in 0. That's why no opposition is the number 0. But with this no opposition, there is also a lack, nothing shows. But now, after I was created, first it was 0, then 1. Now I just want to go back to that place before creation, while living inside creation, because that's the place beyond time and beyond space. So how do I connect to it? By doing what 0 did. Because what did 0 do so it could show itself? It divided itself into 2, a thing and its opposite, like being awake and being asleep, like light and dark. You understand? Now to get back to the 0, I will do just like he did. And this is the last 0. Meaning, what do I need to do now to reach 0? I need to start joining opposites. After I have a memory of myself and showing of myself, I need to join the opposite back together, just like 0 did in order to create the world. And if I join the opposites, I get back to 0 again, within existence, within limits. Let's take a simple example. If right now I'm a 10, that's who I am in the world, a 10, okay? Now who is my opposite? Minus 10. That means everything in my life that are opposite me is like the minus of what I am. Now, if I join 10 to its opposite, minus 10, what do I get? 0. And that's how I can come back to 0 again. And what does it mean to come back to 0? It means to taste what it's like to have no limit, no time, endless money, endless life, endless energy, endless everything. So we see that if we can come back to 0, it's because we don't have the strength to join our opposites. That's all. Because you and the person you don't like, that's you and your opposite. Because your opposite doesn't let you love him, that's all there is to it. Because if you did love him, the two of you would become like one person. So if you can join all the people who are the opposite to you, it's like you are adding 100 to minus 100. What's the outcome of that? The same as before the world was created. There was only 0. But what's the change? What is the difference? The change is that now the 0 comes after the 1. In the beginning, 0 came before 1. And now the last 0 comes after 1. If it comes after 1, I can bring it into the life of the 1 that's inside the limit. I can bring in a kind of crazy life that is completely beyond limit. In just half a second, you can make $1 billion and no one will even know about it. So there are only 2 pieces of advice on how to return to 0. You are the one who should start. Don't wait for your opposite to come to you by itself. Because if it comes to you on its own, you are not ruling over it. For example, if you feel tired now, so you go to sleep. Or if you feel hungry, you go to eat. You see, even after eating, you need to let go. You go to the bathroom. Why? To do the opposite thing of eating. It's in everything. It exists inside the thing and it's at the opposite. But we don't notice it. Now, if you are living inside the one, meaning inside the something, your reality, what is one? One also has a time. It is within time. For example, if you have 100 million, it has time and space. If you tell me a million sheep, you need a certain place to hold a million sheep, right? And you need time to bring them. That's all inside space and time. This is being. This is the number one. But wise person, what does he do? He doesn't start looking for things that are like him. He starts looking things in the world that are opposite to him. Because he realizes that this is what zero did in the beginning. It divided itself into two, a thing and its opposite. And this is how we have a revelation. We can see what is hidden inside us. Now you are always born with a certain kind of showing. For example, you are an athlete, or you have the brain of a scientist, or something else. You revealed what is already inside you. But what did you forget? You forgot that the real wisdom is to connect with your opposite. So then you will reach zero. This is the real wisdom. Then you can touch the zero from before the creation of the world, when after the creation of your own world, where you can change everything. Because as we said, what is a zero? Zero means you can bring any combination of reality that you want, because it has no limits. It is nothing. It holds all the endless combination that exist all together. You just need to choose out of it any combination you want to. So what did we start saying? We said that if someone feels tired, they go to sleep. Who makes you do that? It's not really you. It's reality that tells you now you are tired. Go to sleep. That's this zero. Because this zero keeps saying, I always need to split it into two, a thing and its opposite. So you can keep living. Suddenly you tell yourself, today I'll be strong. I won't eat. But you can't hold out for long. In the end you will eat. Who makes that happen? Reality. The zero. Because it says, you won't go out of my boundaries of the thing and its opposite. Because if you go out, you will die. So suddenly your stomach is dying from hunger and you have to grab something to eat in order to fulfill the will of the zero, so that you will live and you will reveal your own personal will. Now, what is the difference? The difference is, if you can rule over it, meaning reality won't come and step you first. Suddenly it brings you to meet a person who annoys you and you want to smash him, or some group of people, a kind of community that drive you crazy, you want to whip them out, right? That's reality throwing at you. But if you can manage before reality comes at you, you manage to take something off of yourself, then you are the one ruling over the zero. How can you take from yourself? By starting to connect with whatever is your opposite. Someone comes and makes you angry, or you meet someone you won't like, he's your minus. If right now you are minus 100, he is plus 100. You need to join them together, and then you can return to zero. That's why a person who knows how to join all the opposites in the world reaches a greater zero. What does a greater zero mean? Zero is always the same shape. No, because zero is endless. It is endless, and then endless of the endless, growing and growing into an even greater zero. It is hard to understand this, but it's really very simple. Now, how do we do this on ourselves? You start to join your opposite by your own choice. You don't wait until that opposite jumps out, until reality throws your opposite right in your face. No, you start to get it on your own, to understand one thing through another. That's how the world was created. So now, I will do it myself. Let's see, what else is a person's opposite? If I would talk for an hour, I would fill the whole time, even 2 hours, just with a thing and its opposite. That in life. Everything in life is a thing and its opposite. Every movement of machine, every step we take and its opposite. When you walk, it's a thing and its opposite. Why? Because if you take one step forward, the next step is the opposite of the first. Because if it wasn't the opposite, you would stay in the same place. It's hard to understand it, really. It's like you go further to the south or head further north. The opposite of the other side, it doesn't matter. You cannot move in this world without a thing and its opposite. It's like there is the arrow of space and time, past and future, and you move between them, between past and future. There is no past or future at all. There is only zero. Only zero divided itself. So we would think there is past and future, because it's a thing and its opposites. That's it. Because the future is the opposite of the past. If it wasn't opposite, there will be no timeline. There will be no time dimension. Everything would just be a single point. And what is that point? Zero. It's round. Nothing. Now we need to use this nothing to lift our life higher with the kind of leverage that I need hours for just to explain what this leverage is. But let's make it short. There are two ways after we understand this principle well, to get back to the state of before the creation of the world. But this time I'm within my own creation, after I have already revealed my own will. A way that I can now connect to a reality in which I wasn't even created yet. A reality that before the world was created. So this is what is called 010. Zero was Genesis. And as we said, it's not the beginning. It's everywhere. Because it's without time and space. After that, the zero divided itself into a thing and its opposite. So there is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's my being, my existing. One. And now after I become a something, the next step is to return to nothing. To return again to zero. That is 010. There are two ways to do this. I can start connecting all the opposite situations in my life, or I can start to take away from myself, to give charity for my own self, for my own flesh. That's the root. You know why? Because the essence of being is its opposite. You want to get this in 2 minutes? Okay. Like without even noticing, if you want to go to work right now, you need gas, right? And right now, getting gas is your opposite. Why? Because you have to pay for it. You have to take money from your own pocket. You see, in the end, everything you really need is actually your opposite. Through it, you can get what you want. You can fulfill your will. You want to eat, you have to let go of money to buy food. You need to do your opposite. Why? Because what's the nature of something? It only wants to keep getting more and more. Because who is its opposite? That is zero. And what is zero? It is nothing. And what does zero want? Only to get more and more and more. That's why the essence of a human being, the essence of the one, is to receive. We want money, food, whatever, all the time. From the moment we are born, we want to eat, we cry. Our essence is to keep feeling again and again, because really, who is our essence? It's my opposite, which is zero. And because it's nothing, it just wants to feel itself. But if you can, from your own mind, for example, if you earn 1,000, and from that 1,000 you give away 100, say you give to charity, then you are actually living both the thing and its opposite inside your body. Because the opposite of us humans is to take something away from ourselves, to let go, to give away. Because our nature is to receive all the time, more and more food, energy, life, whatever. And if you can give away from yourself, that taking away is the zero itself. Because when you take away from the something, what's left is nothing. And what is nothing? Nothing is zero. So even if you would still have 900 in your hand, the moment you gave away 100, you made zero. Meaning you took away 100 from the 1,000. What is this taking away? It means that you will always be zero. Because what does it mean to take away from yourself? It means nothing. Now you don't have that 100, and not having that 100, it is nothing. What is nothing? It is zero. That is, you're connecting to zero. And through that, you will be blessed 1,000 times over. Then you have that you have adding the beginning. So now the real wisdom, or of wisdom, is both paths. To move through this world, creating new things, borrowing technology, borrowing computers, borrowing invention to help humanity. But that kind of wisdom always has a beginning and an end. And then there is another wisdom we need to practice. It's the wisdom beyond all wisdoms. It's to start to connect the thing with its opposite, with the opposite of the person. Why? Because if at the beginning you had 1,000, it's only a matter of time before the 1,000 turns into nothing, right? Because you have to take away so you can live, gas, food, energy, it all goes out. This 1,000 will come to an end. So what ends? The something runs out. Because the something always has a beginning and an end. Now, what is a person's blessing? It's that inside his being, he puts a tiny piece of zero, of nothing, before the 1,000 emptied and became a zero. Because otherwise, that is not wisdom. He spent it all in order to be rebuilt for himself. But if before that 1,000 is all spent, you take away, let's say, 100 or 2, you are putting a piece of nothing, of zero, into your life that is something. Because taking away the money from yourself at the beginning, it means that now you don't have this. You miss this. And that, I don't have it, that is the zero in the beginning. You start to bring the zero into your life. You understand? Until, in the end, very soon, such a wisdom will be revealed in the world, how to live the zero and not the one. And then a person can live endlessly. Because with the zero, there is endless life. Only you. You cannot see that kind of life. So now, after the creation of the world, as if the world was created, what is the wisdom? To return to the state before the creation of the world, but with my own picture, my own image. And then you can bring the endless infinity reality, all of it, into this world, a world that is all about ending, time and limits. Now without money, this is hardest. A person won't give up even one coin of what they earned. We can let it go. Why can't we? Because we want to hold on to our root, that we having both something and nothing. But you can see it everywhere. You can see it in yourself too, that whatever you earn, you will soon lose. Why? Because you are living your life. So it turns out that no person can escape this loop of their own 0 and 1. And how do we get out of this loop? By going against our own will. If you are used to just getting, that's a being, a human. Let go a bit at the start. Bring the 0 into your life. What does it mean, bringing the 0 into your life? It means bringing pieces of the endless, the limitless, into the limit. And this is the highest wisdom of all the wisdoms in the world. Because whether you like it or not, every wisdom is only one side. Let's say it's a 1. And the 1 will eventually end. And it's also not really related in my life. It can help me. But me, myself, I'm fading away. I'm dying. From here I get the strength to say the greatest wisdom of all wisdom is that after I'm already 1, which happens whether I want to or not. Not because it's for my own good, because I didn't choose to be born. I was just born. So now, what is this wisdom? To connect to the power that existed before I was born. And then there is me, with my own picture, but with an endless power, a crazy kind of leverage that cannot be put into words, and the heart can't even think of. You know, the fact that we managed to put this wisdom into, 20 minutes, I don't even know how much time. That itself, it's a wonder, astonishing. Because this wisdom is endless. According to its own rules, we should be talking endlessly, introductions after introductions, to understand more and more levels, millions of years, just to understand this whole thing. But because of all the introductions throughout the years, you see, we managed to squeeze the endless wisdom into something you can actually talk about, to put a limit, a boundary. That is the wisdom of 0. And that's why 0 is the opposite of the world. People hate losers. They hate when the bank account is a 0. We hate when the fridge is empty. We hate when we have nothing, no clothes, 0. 0 is naked. But this bare state holds everything inside it. That's why was the treasure hidden? What is a treasure? A treasure that you can't even imagine what a treasure. Where is it? It's between the thing and its opposite. Inside our life itself. It was always right under our nose. It's not like they say in the movies, go across the dark mountain and then you will find the treasure. No. That is just to show how hard it is. So where is it? Between me and my opposite. If human nature is to earn, to keep feeling, then before it all runs out, you go first. Rule over it. Take away from yourself. Give to charity. Give. It's the opposite place of receiving. Instead of getting all the time, just give. If you see someone you don't like, know they are your hidden part, and thanks to him, you can be revealed, because he is your opposite. So it turns out that all the people in the world, or all the things that you don't like, who are they? They are your hidden part. Because thanks to the fact that the 0 split itself into a thing and its opposite, the opposite, who is it? That's your hidden part. Because if from the start you already loved your opposite, there will be no space for our own showing. So you must, until a certain age, hate certain people, or this or that. Why? Because this is your hidden part. Until you understand that everyone you hate And everything that is your opposite is your hidden part. That's you, whole. I know it's a lot for your mind to handle, but still the main thing is just to put it into the world, because it is really hard to talk about this, to touch these ideas about infinity. But just to know why I call you, even though I don't feel well and everything, just to put it into the world, to know that I believe there is something. I believe. I still don't know it, but I believe that this world is the very limit, and we die when we keep getting older, and our leverage power keeps going down. Still, there is a point, an absolute point, that no one in the world can touch. No one can change it. No one can move it from the place, even a single millimeter. Because that point was here before you. It was here before your creation. It was here before everything. So how can something within creation can move something before the creation? It's impossible. All I wanted in this whole conversation was not to explain the story itself. I just wanted to say that there is such thing, which is, as fantasy, as fairy tales, the dreams of every human being in this world. What we saw when we were little kids, fairy tales on TV, all these kinds of things. I'm telling you, that point, it really exists in the world. And why don't we see it? Because you cannot see the beauty in the very thing that's opposite you. That's the whole story. So that point will always slip away from you. You know, this is the greatest wisdom in the world and the simplest wisdom in the world. It is always down to earth. What is zero? It's endless because it has no limit, and it's also zero. What is zero? Simple. You don't need to explain zero in terms of this word. Zero means nothing, nothing there, zero. But once there is a one that can reveal the zero, then all the ones must return, not to 2, 3, 4, 5. They must return to the place before creation, to zero. And from there, they can lift up their life with a kind of leverage that no words can express. More than the wisdom itself, what we talked about it, is putting the point on the map of the world and saying, there is such a story. Now, if you want to, go look for it. And if you don't want to, don't look for it. Do you know why? Because if you see that someone discovers something in this world, whatever he is, mathematician or entertainer or whatever, he will always face an opposition just from the very fact of his life, living between 0 and 1, between opposites. So, for example, he will always dislike a certain crowd, like in politics, the right doesn't like the left, right? But the thing with the 0 is that it has no opposite. That's why it's 0. It has no opposite, meaning it is okay with everything. It is in peace with everything. Say something that is that opposite to me. I don't care. So, what is the 0? If you are really 0, you are always in balance. You don't have that thing and its opposite. You don't have opposites, so you are 0. So even people go against you, insult you, call you 0, say you are wrong, say you are a liar. You don't care because 0 can't resist. That's a sign that you are 0. And that's why I can say, if a person hears this and wants to reach that point, let them go search for it, even for 90 years. Because the 1 year they will live after those 90 years, that year will include 10,000 million times more than all the years before. But if they don't want to this wisdom, no problem. Because as we said, zero has no opposites. So it doesn't force you to do anything. That is the beauty of it. From every side, every angle, it is zero. Oh, you say, who is this guy? He's talking nonsense. He just his imagination. Fine. I have no problem with that. Why? Because the essence of zero is not to resist. Do you understand? If you don't feel like it, don't do it. That's the beauty of it. There is no anger, no grudge, no hate. Don't do it. On the contrary, you're just revealing my opposite even more. That's the beauty. This is the point of choice. That's it. We just need to put it out in the market. Like whoever wants to buy, to look for it, they will look. Whoever doesn't, even better. It doesn't matter. There is no resistance with the zero. It doesn't matter. In the end, the thing that the person didn't search for will wait for them on the day they die. Because that's the opposite of life we were born into. No matter where, in the end, it will always meet me. They will meet the point of zero, whether they want to or not. Have you ever seen anyone who managed to escape time? Didn't he die? Whoever he is, left wing, right wing, a scientist, mathematician, an actor, whatever he wants, in the end, he gets old. All his beauty fades away, all the strength goes puff. Whether you want it or not, at that point, nobody asks you. You must sleep, you might buy food, and you must also die. Now, no one can deny this fact. No one has ever escaped this. You know why? To keep the biggest thing in its opposite. That the day you were born and the day you die. That is the thing and its opposite. And inside the thing and its opposite, that's when the zero splits into two. There was the revelation of your whole life. You get it? That's the whole story. You know, whoever understands this, they have won. They have won forever. They can touch eternity. That compared to eternity, a human being is like a germ, like a mosquito. Whoever doesn't want this, no problem. It's all good to begin with. They will find it anyway. On the day they die, they will want to come back again to have another round, to discover it. There is no way around it. In the end, zero clues you in from every side, like a circle. Only there is a zero that is bad, and there is a zero that's good. What is bad? Zero? It's like a loop, a circle that closes you in on you. You cannot escape the loop of your life. That's the infinity. You cannot get out of your own private loop. And there is a zero that is good. It's when you are in the one, in your paths, 1, 2, 3, 4, you're bringing the zero to help leverage your life 1 billion times more than you need. Do you see? That's it. So it turns out that the more a person reduces the polarity on the opposites in their body, the more their time rises higher and higher until they reach such a balance and become the great zero. And what is the great zero? It's the point that's missing in the world, an absolute point of support, something to lean on. There is nothing to lean on. There is no third thing. There is only two. You understand? Alright, this is very deep, bro. No need to go into it anymore. The main thing is we put it out there. It's on the map. Whoever wants to can choose. Whoever doesn't, doesn't. That's it. Now this matter of zero, which is beyond the human mind, it's not only about leveraging off infinity within the something, but also much more. because zero is the secret of before creation, so to speak. There before creation, we didn't really do what we did, like bad things, breaking or making a mess. In the reality of zero, it doesn't exist, because you can switch it for another combination, because zero already includes all the combination, all that was and all that will be, until the end of days. That's why in zero itself, if we have the privilege to connect to it, nothing dies, nothing breaks, nothing gets ruined, nothing gets older. Everything is always alive, because you can switch any situation that inside time for another situation that comes from zero, from that great nothing, from that place beyond time. And this we must know and remember well, because this is the point of hope for us and for the whole world. Which world? The world we live in, which, whether we like it or not, has a beginning, a peak, and then a decline, a death, from old age and decay. And this whole story comes all the despair and troubles in the world. But so the wisdom of zero, not only will it be possible to fix and replace, to change everything, but we will be able to live a kind of life that we have never known before. And it's simple.